Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 211th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and those sexy legends over at Audio Technica. And I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today, a podcast Ride or Die, the other smart member of the 8-Bit Nation who managed to secure a PlayStation 5 pre-order via Amazon because everywhere else in the world sold out in 35 milliseconds. You can find her at Miss Ellie Hart on the socials. How you doing today, Miss Ellie Hart? What up?
I'm doing good. Obviously, first thing in the morning for you, so you probably haven't caught it yet. But a good chunk of us of the Amazon pre-ordering group received a nice little email from Amazon saying, hey, there's a good chance you're not going to get it.
Oh, no. Should have asked you about this beforehand.
Well,
did you get the email?
So yeah, they sent through an email to, I don't know if it was, it must have been just all the American people. But
I'm checking my emails right now.
So yeah,
because I bought from Amazon as well.
Good morning, Australia. So yeah, they sent out an email today. Everyone got it who pre-ordered on Amazon, and it's essentially just saying hey, yeah, you ordered it, but due to stock levels, you might not be able to get your pre-order fulfilled. Then I'm not sure if it's fulfilled for the first batch or it's not going to be fulfilled for release, or if it's just straight up, we've only got a certain amount. You may be lucky, you may not be.
Crisis averted. I have no email in my inbox right now.
Oh, well, good for you. No, luckily for me, my partner is big brain, and he also pre-ordered one from Best Buy, I think.
Yes.
So, we have a backup plan.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it was very, very touch and go with this pre-order situation where it went live just out of the blue, you knew an hour beforehand roughly that it was going live. I was pre-ordering mine through EB just because it seems to be the easiest way to do things, especially with trade-ins and what have you. And I got all my stuff in there, went to check out, had to sign in. Cool, signed in. Went to check out again, put my payment details in, hit processing, got the little pinwheel loading, and then it refreshed and it was like, this is out of stock now. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I know that, it's a business and people want to maximize these sales, but I feel there needs to be some kind of safety net for a shopping cart. Even if you give us 2 minutes or 3 minutes, let it stay in that cart. It's allocated to you for that, for a short period of time. It doesn't need to be taking the mickey, but I'm a valued member, as my account says, and yet I get nothing. I get no benefit of the doubt.
There's a lot of websites that do have that, and I don't know if this is because this is a pre-order thing, or maybe because it is such a such a major in-demand item, by having a person just click, therefore locking themselves for at least a solid 3 minutes of stock. Scalpers or mass buyers would be able to fudge the system a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
It is really, really disappointing when you've got it all in there. You're literally about to hit the button, and then sorry, it's not there.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
I was pretty defeated at that point in time, and because I didn't really want to do the pre-order through one of the delivery options through an Amazon or a JB or whatever else, because I wanted it on launch day. But they did the second wave of PlayStation 5 pre-orders through EB about maybe half an hour to an hour later, but they could only guarantee you'd get it between the release date and December 31. So I'm like, I don't want to muck around with this noise either. So I took the punt and got the priority shipping and everything through Amazon, and they gave you $30 credit for your Amazon account anyway, so it sort of worked out pretty good from a cost perspective. So I'm locked in with Amazon. Jeff is getting more of our money, so Yeah.
His evil ways. We went with Amazon because we have like a credit card or something. Then you get like money back kind of thing. So
Oh, nice.
It's a no-brainer. But you know, like I'm not like that pedantic where it's like I need it day one. Like if I had to like wait a week for it, I think I'd be okay. Like, but if I'd had to wait till like the end of the year or like next year, because stock numbers are fleety. I don't care what anyone says. Like, there's gonna be a stage where they like are gonna be low on stock.
Oh yeah.
So
especially this year, like with COVID and everything, manufacture offshore would be very difficult to stay on top of right now. So
yeah. But we can all just agree that was like the most craziest, like, and I like I can't say console wars, but like I've never seen such like like teamwork between gamers in regards to getting that information out there of this person has it available. Now these people go check here, like, oh hey, here's this link, because that's over here, like it took a while before like American like retailers were going to start pre-ordering it, but then Walmart I think was the first one to kind of do the sneaking, and then I think a lot started following suit. So you cut, but like at the second that they dropped, they would sell out, like, or the pre-orders would sell out. So it was a very like anxious time, and there was a moment where I'm like, holy shit, like am I really going to miss out? And Amazon hadn't listed it yet, and just sitting there waiting, and I was like watching a stream, and someone just in their stream said, Amazon now, here's the link. And
everyone's like, see ya. Straight over there.
Well, it's more like I'm pretty smart about like mysterious links, but like that one I just didn't even question. Yeah. I just clicked it and
brick my computer. I don't care. I need this console.
Yeah, I was just like clicked it straight away. So
yeah, like it was some hysteria, and I'm genuinely curious to know the overall pre-order numbers from a global perspective. Like if they did have a substantial amount available, or if it was a stripped back number just due to potential manufacturing issues with COVID and everything else. But either way, like the hype is real. You could see a lot of people were like, I need a PlayStation 5 and I need it day one. Like, and I'm of that ilk. Like when you said you'd be happy with waiting a week, I would not be happy. I would be climbing the walls.
Like there was a stage, like there was a time, and it was, you know, young, dumb and disposable income. I would just buy all the consoles. It's like, oh, Xbox and PlayStation are releasing a console at the same time. That's fine. I'll buy them both. That's fine. I'll do it. Like, do you play them both? No, like hardly ever. So that was like my thought process. I'm like, do I really play console? And like everyone usually hears me say it. Like I'm playing PC majority of the time. So
yeah, and I like, in all honesty, I could pick the battle and just pick one of the consoles, but just due to my need it now nature,
love for Microsoft.
Yeah, and my love for Team Green. So yeah, I'm lined up. I'm ready to roll. 8 a.m. on the 22nd, which is our Tuesday here in Australia, is when pre-orders go live for the Xbox Series X or S. So yeah, mark that in your calendar if you didn't see that on the socials. This Tuesday, the 22nd at 8 a.m. Australian time. Get on those web stores, get that pre-order going. And it was a nice little subtle jab/flex by Microsoft where they're like, hey, we're going to give you enough notice. This is when the pre-orders are going live. This is where you can get it. Just mark it in your calendar instead of this guerrilla marketing tactic where it's like, oh yeah, pre-orders live right now, go! And like mass hysteria ensues. So we'll see how it plays out.
How did that go? Because like I'm trying to remember from my time like working in retail. And like I'm pretty certain we couldn't just like have stuff pre-ordered. That something in our system would have to start accepting pre-orders. Like you as a company make that decision. So I'm wondering how much of this is based on a Sony mistake, because it wasn't available on Sony's website or anything like that. It was just, you know, retailers. So I think it would have to be on them, right, to say like, we're just going to take pre-orders now. Like I think they by now know what their stock numbers are and what they're getting. So they just open up the floodgates for pre-orders.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I called my local EB and they have apparently no stores have given stock allocations. It's all just divvied through online for now, and then once they survey that landscape, they'll work out what physical consoles they may or may not get and when they may or may not get them. So yeah, they're all just dictated from the eShop at the moment. So
that's very curious. So if anyone went in store, they wouldn't have been.
Because I called the second that got the first wave of pre-order was officially scrubbed from EB. I called them up. I'm like, hey, is there a chance if I could come in right now and pre-order one? They're like, no, we don't have any authority to do that. It's online only right now. So,
jeez,
yeah. But interesting time to be alive in the console wars. It's certainly got the hysteria going across the masses with people that missed out or were working because it was 8 a.m. Australian time, so most people are working or on their way to work at that time, so it was probably tough for a lot of people to step away to try and land that pre-order, and there's a lot of people sad missing out. I had a few randos and a few friends that aren't really, I guess, embedded in the gaming space who messaged me going, hey, do you have any contacts where I can pre-order a PlayStation 5 or whatever else? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not that connected. I appreciate the kind words, but you're just gonna have to join the queue like the rest of us.
Bootleg Brendan, dealing out of the back of a car or something like that.
Yeah, but there is some crazy high eBay listings already for day one PlayStation 5s.
Just ridiculous.
My God.
Because those people can't guarantee that their pre-orders are actual legit, can they? They can't.
Not at all they could do is I guess have a screen grab of pre-order successful or whatever. That's all they could show, and so it's just on merit.
On Amazon, we all got our order confirmations. So
that's true. I'm hoping I don't receive an email today from Amazon. Don't do me like that, Amazon, please. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I don't want to have to try and nickel and dime someone to find a PlayStation 5 on launch day. But yeah, outside of that, been playing some games. Been playing couple of usual suspects. Been rolling more Avengers. Hit the level 50 cap with Black Widow this week.
Oh, yeah.
Grinding to the gear score of 150 at the moment. So played a little bit of that. Bit more online multiplayer. Still enjoying that. Connectivity issues can still be a little bit up, down, round and round. So you sort of take your life in your hands in that regard. Playing some more NBA. Just working my way through my career. Trying to become the best baller the world has ever seen.
Still working with your nemesis?
No, so I restarted my career and just skipped to NBA, and so my nemesis ended up on another team, but I still somehow got picked first overall by the Raptors. So, it is what it is, but just the AI in that game just baffles me. The minute distribution, the lineups, these game developers know who gets played and for how long. You base it off real stats, but half the players that are beasts on these teams get either bugger all minutes or they're out of the rotation. It's just really weird in that regard. So that's a little bit of a disjointed situation that plays out with that game. But overall, it's okay. I've been enjoying hooping because it's a lot different to a lot of the other games I've been playing. And then a game we've both been playing, not together thus far, but jump back on the Destiny 2 train this past week somehow.
What the F happened? Can I ask? Just out of nowhere, I jumped off the wagon. I casually dip my toe into Destiny every now and then when I just feel like playing Gambit. But then out of nowhere, all you guys are just hey, you're playing Destiny? Yeah, let's play some PvP. And I'm like, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Where were you?
NATO and his beloved cheeky persistence got me. Just the message here and there. Hey, Destiny, when are we Destiny? And I'm like, I'd like to do that. I'm like, okay, let's give it a spin.
How has he figured out some level of weird peer pressure or annoyance that actually gets to you?
I know. I know. Maybe it's because he's just so cute. It's I feel bad letting him down. It's upsetting a puppy.
Oh, that's on record. But okay, so all right, so you jumped on Destiny.
Destiny.
What did you guys do? Did you do story, PvP, Gambit?
It was interesting because I forgot where I got to last time I played.
Been a while.
The Shadowkeep stuff was out, and I did all that, but I forgot I did all that. So he ran me through the first bit, and I'm like, this feels familiar.
Very familiar.
And then so we did another mission. I'm like, this is very familiar. Yeah, I've done all this. So then it just became. I've just been playing Crucible really for the most part. Did a couple of random like little strikes and things like that. But I guess haven't experienced much new that I didn't know. Like obviously my gear scores now, I think it's 10. It got to 1030 I think the other day. So it's crept up a fair amount from when I last played. I think it was like 930 maybe when I last played in like February.
Yeah.
So that jumps really quick. And then I jumped on and was doing some Destiny 2 with Panda and Subpar Lover and a couple of the legends at Bungie and a couple other Panda's stream friends, and we were doing some Crucible. We attempted to do the raid, which half the people in our group had never done. That was a mess. My goodness gracious me. We were doing the Leviathan raid. We made it through 1.5 stages of the raid. Yeah, so that's how that went. But yeah, just been playing Crucible. Just been rolling PvP. It's a good way to get gear. It's a good way to get owned. Because my goodness, there's some good people in PvP. So
yeah, you got to remember
a lot of Crucible.
There's people that play this just all day, every day, man. Like this is all that they play. So much as there are like strictly COD players, there are people, and these people will just play PvP.
Some of them are so good. My God, like I'm an okay shot. I feel I'm passable. But some of the moves that these guys and girls throw at you, where they're just flying at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour, one-shotting you with a sniper while they're jumping and floating and whatever else, it's like, get out of here. Get out of here. But just been enjoying it. It's just been good to jump in and sort of do a bit of a rumble and play against real people and grind that gear up, try and get some good loot. So that's all I've really been doing on the Destiny front. You sort of been jumped in and had a little bit of a Destiny play around this week too, yeah?
Yeah, so like everyone else was talking about playing it, and I'm like, that's okay. Little Ali will play again by herself. But I just jumped into Gambit like I usually do, just to, I guess recalibrate my like handling anyway. So I love Gambit. I will stand by that. It's my favorite game mode that Destiny introduced. It's not a popular opinion, but it's mine. And
it's mine.
It's my opinion, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting everything that needs to be done before like the next step of story. It sounds like there's a lot going to change. So yeah, just always ticking off a bunch of things that need to be done story wise. One
thing I do enjoy is like the world event Gambit mode they've got in there now too, like with the public event that they weave the Gambit mechanics in.
Tons of
that
fun.
Is insane, and that is intense. I played that on like it triggered to heroic the other day, and holy shit, that is a mission to get through, but
great.
That's pretty cool.
It's tons of fun. I love it. Just jumping on IO and just like going back and forth to every time that like it spawns into different two locations, I think. 2 that are nearby, so you just jump on your Sparrow and head to the next one. So
yeah, one thing I've noticed, related yet unrelated, is if I play this game on PC using my Elite controller,
motherfucker,
I can't make my Sparrow go fast. For some reason, there's some weird like button clash with maybe having the paddles or something. If I take the back paddles out, which replace the face buttons, I can go fast, but if I have them in, it sort of just cruises along almost in like second gear.
That's
it's just
really
weird.
Strange.
Very weird. Yeah.
But also stop playing with a controller.
I just like playing with controllers so much.
I just like being a dick to control players that play on PC.
I know I'd ultimately have quicker aim and things like that playing with keyboard and mouse, but it's just, I don't know. It just feels comfortable having the big old Elite in my hands.
I just feel like perfecting your keyboard and mouse skills, especially when it comes to first-person shooter, like you can usually, like the adaptability between games is a lot more like smoother, I guess. And like I just feel like once you essentially get good at it, then each game you play, you're at least starting at a relatively good level.
Yeah,
obviously
that makes
each
sense.
one handles a bit differently, but
it makes sense.
Controller.
I know I should persist more with it, but I'm just a sookie boy. So, yeah. But play a bit more Destiny 2 over the weekend if you wanna rumble.
Am I invited? Am I?
Of course. The time zones just make
bitch.
it weird. Like
no,
last night after we streamed, Shout out to Generosity, by the way, and shout out to the people that dropped by and dropped some cash towards cure cancer. You know, it means an awful lot to us all. Apologies for anyone that did drop by and see that the stream probably wasn't as polished and fine-tuned as we'd like it to be. That was my first toe dip into that space, and it was trial by fire in every sense of the word. But
baby steps.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully just the doggo cam was enough to distract people from the blemishes.
It was.
Yeah, so I'll bring that back. That's just my way to get out of most things I've decided now is like, oh, you're mad at me? Here's my dogs.
I have dogs. I have cute puppos.
Yeah, but outside of that, I've been watching this week a show that just dropped on HBO Max, or for Australia it's available on Binge or Foxtel, called Raised by Wolves. Science fiction drama, helmed by Ridley Scott, so he's an executive producer. He directed the first 2 episodes. It's pretty cool, and like I'm just going to sort of recycle what I said to you last night about it, as it feels very much like it is the offspring of, you know, the Prometheus Alien sort of film cycle. Like it's the show itself is focused around 2 androids named Father and Mother, and they're raising human children on this planet after Earth was destroyed during this big war. So there's still humans around, various colonies of them, and they're fighting. As it always seems to be, you know, religious differences is what brings the conflict with the various humans, and the androids are, you know, what they are in almost all Ridley Scott's movies. You know, they're ancillary characters yet can sort of take a lead position. Mother is also a necromancer, you could say, which is sort of like a warrior android, which is really kind of cool, and the way she can fight, and she like has like this scream ability that can just like disintegrate things. Like it is bananas, but it's really cool, very bleak. Like it's a very washed out color palette as far as this Kepler 22, I think, is the planet they live on. It's all very, very like whites and greys and, you know, dusty yellow colors. So there's not much vibrancy in the shots themselves. The cast is really cool. Amanda Collin plays Mother. I've never seen her in anything before, but she's really great in that role. And then Travis Fimmel, who was Ragnar Lothbrok in Vikings. He plays Marcus, who's sort of one of the lead human characters in the show. But it's really cool, and it takes a lot of those themes from, I guess, Ridley Scott's science fiction brain, like what is it to be human, cultivating life, you know, terraforming planets, surviving in these harsh environments, aliens, all that kind of stuff. 7 episodes released so far. It was weird. They released like 5 in one hit, and then they just released another 2. I think there's 10 episodes confirmed for the first season, but they've just announced that they've renewed it for a second season. But it's really cool. You know, pretty bleak and dark and dire tone. Good acting, good soundtrack, really cool visuals, and I'm digging it very much so.
We definitely like have been getting it advertised to us a lot here. I do agree, like the color palette and just the overall look of it does look essentially bleak, because to me, like, there were some curiosities about it that I was like, oh, what is this? But then for the most part, when everything's kind of like a really dull tone and very like colorless, sometimes you kind of don't really gauge interest into things. But it's funny that you said a guy from Vikings was in it, because like there's always this one shot that I see and I'm like, Vikings ad. Oh no, wait, it's this other show. So yeah, well, I mean, you've sold it to me, and it's good to hear that they've actually dropped a good amount. I have heard like a lot of people who have watched it say extremely positive things about it. So yeah, so I'm guessing this was I'm gonna have to jump onto, since we finished AP Bio, what I mentioned last
week. Hell yeah!
Thank God to Jono, who actually kind of said to me, "Hey, yeah, we do have it in Australia," and he agreed that it was really good. So.
Is that Australia's John O'Peck you're referring to?
Sorry, there? Yes, Australia's sweetheart, John O'Peck.
Yeah, I'm going to give AP Bio a look eventually. But yeah, this Raised by Wolves has been a good little bit of sci-fi hotness at the moment. Like, it's not always balls to the wall action. Like, there is a lot of slower paced episodes just sort of building the world out and the characters and expanding on the mythos in there. But it's a good watch, and the special effects are really, really well done. Like, it doesn't look cheap. Like, you can see they've thrown some money behind this and they're investing in this franchise, and it's awesome to see. There's 2 seasons now, at least confirmed. But yeah, anyone that's on Foxtel, or you got HBO Max if you're outside of Australia, or Binge, give it a look. 7 episodes available. I don't know when the final handful of episodes are going to drop. Maybe next week they'll probably sprinkle a few more in, but it's so cool. It's so cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Throw it on the pile.
Prometheus, the TV show, really. That's like all I keep thinking when I watch this show. But yeah, that's me. Finally caught up, finished all of Lucifer. I'm waiting for the new episodes to drop now. I really smashed through those 5 seasons very quick. So now I'm just like, okay, maybe I can get into this AP bio and see what it's about, because I'm pretty well caught up on everything.
Because I definitely didn't sell it too well. But it's hard. It's a hard thing to sell. It's hard to be like, trust me, this show is good, without me being able to pinpoint specifically what makes it good. It is just overall good.
Yeah. Oh, and also I binged Raven's Banquet as well.
Oh, did you? How good is that?
Very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. And we both agreed on the favorite episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flashback to the game devs in the 90s. I thought that was fantastic.
It was
Jake Johnson,
so well made.
And I'm sorry, female co-lead in that episode.
The mother from
portrayed. Mother from How I Met Your Mother.
Your mother.
Yeah, good show. That episode was by far the star, I think, of the entire season. And it's weird because it was so off-center from the rest of the show.
Yeah, it was so peculiar too, because like at first you're like, oh, it's just like introducing to like where it came from and everything, but then they show you the connection. But like, yeah, it's such a, like, especially growing up as a PC gamer, like as a kid, like there's like a lot of elements to it that were very, very familiar for me. So like it was a great watch. So recommend.
Hell yeah. Speaking of great things, and not a great watch, but a great listen. But the latest episode of the 8-Bit Cast drops this coming week. And it's going to see Ali, myself, Jono, and Mr. Matt Tilby taking a trip down professional wrestling memory lane. So we're talking about our WWF high points, low points, favorite wrestlers. We even end it with a little bit of wrestling intro theme trivia to see who takes that out. Be available at patreon.com/We Are 8-Bit for the low price of $1 to get early access to that. But it will then be released on the 8-Bit Cast RSS feed within the fortnight after that episode drops. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And we'll also have the other episode of the Hungry Game Show dropping to the public this week as well, seeing Mr. Benny McJanet tackle Mortal Kombat 11 in the Trivia Battle Arena. So that'll be dropping on the Hungry Gamers RSS feed probably Wednesday this week, a couple of days after THG releases. So keep your eyes peeled for a double dose of hotness on the THG RSS feed. But outside of that, obviously 8bitnation.net, shop8bit.net, 8bit.net, youtube.com/We Are 8bit for all that video content. And then also audiotechnica.com or audiotechnica.com.au for the best in audio-based equipment. You need some new headphones, you need a microphone, you need a turntable, you want to get that vinyl out. It is all there. The best in the business, really well priced, Japanese quality. And if you can, and if they're still available, get a set of these purple ATH M50X headphones. Limited edition 8-Bit Purples. Get on them while you can.
I want to give an honorable mention to the PAX panel that you guys did this past week.
Yes.
Really, really good content. Very informative about just like audio and recording and everything that anyone that's a beginner streamer, podcaster, like you guys were so good, so thorough, detailed, but not like over explaining. It was a really, really good panel to watch. Well done, guys.
100%. Matt and Gary were definitely the stars of that show. Their knowledge of audio equipment and positioning and how certain types of microphones work and, you know, headphone recommendations, like anyone, not even if you're wanting to just get into content creation, but if you're just looking for recommendations for, you know, the right headphones for you, or if you are just dabbling with gaming, whether it be offline with friends or if you are trying to do streaming or whatever else, it is a great first stop. You can see the video. It is sort of like a VOD now, available over on the PAX Twitch channel. So hunt that down. Because Matt and Gary did fantastic. I came home with a bit of a wet sail, but you know what? I think it was fun and want to do more of that kind of stuff. And Matt and I have already been talking about doing maybe a few little like YouTube entries, sort of little
hell yeah.
bite-sized things about that, just to help people when they are getting into content creation for the first time, because it can be very daunting. And speaking from most recent experience last night, not completely knowing the ins and outs of a bit of software or a platform, having those little tips and tricks will mean the absolute world and take a lot of that stress off you when you are going live. So yeah, check out Before You Go Live 2.0 on the PAX VOD channels on the Twitch and see what that was all about. Good call on that one, by the way. Thanks for bringing that up. I totally forgot about that.
No problem. Had quite the impact on me.
Ah, there you go. Speaking of impact.
This week's news headlines.
All right, we've got a couple of quick little bangers first before we jump into the main course. We probably alluded to what that main course was going to entail with the discussion on the PS5. But yeah, a couple of little bites here. Beat Saber will be getting its long-awaited multiplayer mode next month on October the 13th. Details regarding the multiplayer mode's exact nature are admittedly still rather thin on the ground, but Facebook, which acquired Beat Games last year, says players will be able to battle up to 5 friends or random opponents in a bid to reign supreme. That would be insane to watch. Can you imagine like a 5 or 6-way stream of Beat Saber people just jousting in the musical Saber arena?
Well, so the way that I would see it would be like any other kind of multiplayer rhythm game where locally you'll be hearing the track in your own form and you'll essentially highest score would win, right? So yeah. I'm actually genuinely, like, considering how long Beat Saber has been around, kind of curious that they haven't had like a multiplayer element available.
Yeah, it's sort of taken them a little while to get to this stage, but the continued success of that game, I guess maybe they haven't had to try and rush it out. You know, they just keep bringing out new packs and partnering up with new musical artists to bring their songs to this platform. And this game makes so much money. It is so big, and the good Beat Saber players out there, a treat to watch. Like, it is magical how rhythmic they can be in this. Like, I look like a seal trying to walk on its tail playing this game. Like, it is not a good experience. I'm not a good watch. I'm so uncoordinated, and then these other people just do it effortlessly.
I got recommended a video by that Australian streamer Nacy.
By Nacy, yeah.
Yeah, and she even, like, I saw that she also gets like dressed up as well for the theme of the song, which is really cool. So
yeah, she's pretty much the queen of Beat Saber here in Australia, and probably one in the world too. Like, she does a lot of VR streams, and Beat Saber, I think, is probably her bread and butter, and yeah, she crushes it. Yeah, shout out to the Purple Nation. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Curious to see what kind of like joint streams pop up with this and how it translates, but it'll probably make some good video, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. All
right, and sort of weaving into the next bit of VR discussion, in news both theoretically exciting and so detail deficient it barely constitutes news, Ubisoft has announced it'll be bringing its Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed franchises to VR. Ubisoft made the reveal as part of Facebook's VR event earlier this week before offering precisely no additional game details. About all we can say for certain at the moment is that both Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed VR will be developed by Ubisoft's Red Storm studio in collaboration with Ubisoft Dusseldorf, Ubisoft Reflections, and Ubisoft Mumbai. The suggestion also appears to be that these games will be fully fledged VR experiences exclusive to Oculus, which is likely to be glorious news for long-suffering fans of Splinter Cell in particular. Somewhat unbelievably, Splinter Cell's Sam Fisher hasn't appeared in his own mainline game since 2013's Splinter Cell Blacklist. Instead, Ubisoft has been content to roll out the fan-favorite character prop up its other creations, most recently turning the stealth hero, who is at least getting his own animated Netflix series, into an operator in Rainbow Six Siege. So this little bite says a lot without saying much, to be honest. I guess what we can take away is that Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell are making their way to VR. In what regard? Who knows? Is it a full-fledged game? Is it the OG games just getting reimagined in VR? I don't know. Is this, like, if you owned a VR headset, would you be picking these games up and playing them first person through a headset?
It depends, because like VR Assassin's Creed, and depending which time period they choose, like there is a small appeal to me. Like, I would love to like walk around in the like environment established in Assassin's Creed 2 and maybe even Black Flag. But like Assassin's Creed 2, just like walking around and just seeing that history, like I wouldn't be playing the game. I'd just be like, you know, looking at architecture and art and everything like that, especially during these COVID times. But in the same sense, could you imagine VR and doing that massive Assassin's Creed dive into the haystacks?
That's what I was thinking, is like a game that is as fluid in movement and fast and allowing instant traversal. I think there'd be so many people getting sick, like so much motion sickness, like running and free climbing and jumping off into a hay bale and whatever. I think I might vomit.
So they might actually, and now thinking about Splinter Cell as well, like they're only saying that they are like, they're making VR games off the franchise, right?
Yeah.
So chances are they're probably going to take elements from games and then adjust them to a VR experience. So both games have stealth elements involved. So what they'll probably do is just create a VR game predominantly based on stealth maneuvers. Mm-hmm. So
blending into crowds, or with Sam Fisher hiding in the shadows and things like that. So it's probably going to be a lot of just slow, calculated walking and movement as opposed to running around like a mad dog. Exactly
right. So, I mean, yeah. What was the other VR game that was recently? But that was done. That was going to be the shop, right? Far Cry.
Yes.
But that was the storefront. So at least this one's going to be exclusive to Oculus.
Yeah, like, cool. I've like... I own some VR headsets, don't play them. Great tech, but yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see what these games are when they get formally announced and showcased. But I guess it's cool to see more AAA franchises making their way to VR. I guess that's the biggest takeaway, instead of it just being a lot of tech demos.
I don't know. Like, a part of me, like, I've always said VR can be amazing. It could be one of the best experiences that we could experience, especially when we get old and we can barely move or we get arthritis and all that sort of business. Like, VR could be a really great experience for like the elderly. But it needs investment and it needs time and dedication. So while it's good that like companies are trying their best at creating a VR experience, if you create a VR experience that's either lackluster or half-baked, the idea of need or the like people purchasing the VR experience just dies. So therefore it can't really get pumped up. So I really wish there was like a really dedicated like group or studio that just specializes in high quality, graphically dense experiences in VR, just so we can see exactly where we can take it.
Yeah, that's it. Like we've got a couple little nibbles at that full experience. Like Half-Life Alyx this year was one of them, and you know, things like Resident Evil 7 and whatnot. But outside of that, like, we've got a lot of great games and a lot of compressed games or experiences, but we don't get many holy hell, this is the true future type of situations.
Exactly.
Like, it's not a regular thing amongst the VR world. But I think we'll get there as the technology improves and they can fit more grunt into the headset to, you know, lessen the need for cables and reliance on other hardware. That's when we'll start to see this become more of a commodity, I guess you could say.
True, yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Bit of Assassin's Creed. I wouldn't mind having to hide and blend into crowds and, you know, stealth killing baddies and stuff like that. Like, I think that could be fun, but if that's all the game is, yeah, I'd probably need a bit more.
Could you imagine the strain on your knees, though? Just, like, sitting there in your VR, just, like, crouching around and crawling around whatever room or space in your house. Just sitting there. I'll just do the first mission. I'll be like, done my back and my knees are gone.
I'm retired. I'm out of the Assassin's game.
I'm not an assassin anymore. I'm just going to go sell bread over here.
That works for me. I love a good loaf of bread. All right. The next bit of news we're going to talk, and this is sort of our deep dive for the episode, and it is titled The 10 Biggest Announcements and Trailers from Sony's PlayStation 5 Showcase. And this comes via way of The Verge. A week after Microsoft detailed the price and release date for both the Xbox Series X and the Series S, Sony has followed suit with a major PS5 showcase event. this past Wednesday/Thursday, Sony revealed not only how much the PlayStation 5 will cost and when it will launch, but also more details on the games coming to the next-gen platform. So this is the 10 biggest. They did highlight a lot of other games and other announcements within, but we're going to sort of cherry-pick these 10. And the first one that they've got on the docket, God of War, is back. The long-awaited follow-up to God of War is official thanks to a brief tease. And not in the doc, but I'm going to emphasize brief. Yeah. Brief. We don't know much about it, but it appears to be called Ragnarok. Something was heavily suggested at the end of the original game. And it's expected to launch next year. That was a big, booyah moment for me, the 2021 date.
Yeah, I mean, the age that we live in now, we kind of know that that's probably not official, that's not going to be the case. Where it came out 2021. It's like, yeah, right, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that's we can all have dreams, but to me it makes sense that to say that I was expecting this. I can't say that I was expecting an announcement, but for people to be genuinely surprised that there was a game in the works, it's like, come on, God of War was one of the biggest releases of the year. It was received so well, and we just knew that they were already going to be signed up to create the next installment, and it's been some time now between release. So
yeah, so the I guess the soft reboot that they did with the PS4, April 2018 was when it came out. So I'm wondering if they're going to fall into that release window next year, if it's going to be April 2021. That's a 3-year cycle. They did heavily allude, avoiding as much spoil as I can, but the ending of God of War heavily alluded to further doubling down on the Norse mythos and stuff like that. And that's what we're getting with it, called Ragnarok. But the world blew up on this, and all it was the logo and Kratos talking over in the background. It was nothing, and yet everyone's like, "Oh, Sony's the best." I'm like, this is just a cop out. Come on, take your blinders off.
So bad. The hype around it. I can be I can understand people being excited by it, but it's do you remember the not Skyrim, but the Elder Scrolls announcement?
Oh yeah. at E3 2 years ago or whatever, where it was just they sprawled over this big fantasy green lush vista, and then it popped up with the logo, the Elder Scrolls logo. But that was it, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
And I think that's where I sit with this, because when I saw that the Elder Scrolls announcement, I agree with everyone. Yeah, it was F all, it was just terrain, but for me it was at least I know they're working on it. That's all I needed, is that they're working on it. That's all the confirmation I needed. And then I come back to this with God of War and what I said previously. Of course they were making it. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, more God of War, awesome, hell yeah. Loved the most recent one in 2018. Can't wait to play this one as well. God of War Ragnarok looks like it's going to be brilliant, but
on new gen console, so it's going to look pretty.
Oh, it's going to be so sexy. The next news, PlayStation Plus is getting an extra bonus. Sony has announced the PlayStation Plus Collection, a new feature for its subscription service that lets subscribers play a huge range of classic PS4 games on their PS5. Best of all, it'll be available at launch in November. So I think this is their sort of return serve in a way to Xbox Game Pass, trying to say, hey, look, we do support previous gen, and we do have cool offerings available. They did show a good assortment of games, a wide variety of games. You saw Uncharted 4 in there, you saw Until Dawn, you saw Final Fantasy was in there, and a heap of other games as well. But I'm cool, thumbs up to you, Sony, for this, but it didn't really move the needle too much for me. I think all this was, in a way, was just sort of filling out the PS5 catalog at launch to make it look a little less bare.
Yep. Yeah. To be honest, the only thing that really grabbed me in the sequence that they showed of things that were going to be inclusive in this, Persona, I think it was one of them. So I was just that's
true.
Cool. I need to play that anyway. But all the other things, I was kind of yeah. I guess. Did they mention that it was going to be an extra payment, or it's added on?
It's just added on, apparently.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Not 100% confirmation on that, but when I did some research on it when it was announced, I couldn't see anything about that it's going to bump the price up. It looks like it's just to pack in with PlayStation Plus, which is cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me. More games never a bad thing, but yeah, it just feels like it's a stocking stuffer for the PS5. So, because I think majority of PS4 gamers have played all those franchises. Like the vast majority of them, people have had their experiences in it already. But
they did look like the major titles, the major like AAA titles that, as you said, a PlayStation owner fan would have probably already played. So.
That's right. Because God of War was in there too, wasn't it?
I think it was
in the listing, so you could get a taste of that on the PS5. There was no talk of graphical fidelity increases or anything like that. I think it's just here's the games available digitally. Download them on your PS5 and you get that PS4 experience. But you know what? More free games, never a bad thing. Good on you, Sony, for actually trying to chuck a bit more value at your fan base. So that's cool. The next one, Final Fantasy 16 announced for PlayStation and PC. The show opened with a surprise. Final Fantasy 16 is in the works. We don't know much more than that. Like, say, when it'll be available, but the debut trailer is full of familiar sights like chocobos, crystals, and wild magic spells. The game will be coming to both the PlayStation 5 and PC, which is interesting. But, it's tough because I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan. Like, well, not a fan. I can respect the franchise. I've enjoyed playing some of them over years, but I'm not all in and heavily invested like some others are. So
no,
it's like,
me either.
Cool.
Like, and look, I'm gonna preface essentially us talking about this. Like the general Sony PlayStation event, I felt very much on the same level. I really didn't get the major hype factor that probably a lot of people did. I know that the Final Fantasy fans were happy to see, this get announced, know that it's in production. Chances are, it won't be released until, 2022 or 2023 or something like that. So it's probably just a snippet. Graphically, it looks really nice. There was a big focus on Shiva in this one. So I'm very curious, what's the story element? Did you, watching that trailer, did you go, is this the freaking Witcher?
It had a bit of that vibe to it to a degree, but I also, a lot of these trailers, because I don't know the vast majority of notable Final Fantasy characters, so there's probably big reveals in these trailers where I'm just like, oh yeah, who's that guy? But everyone else that knows the universe, oh my god, that's blah blah blah. So I was like, yeah, it looks cool, but it just feels like the same sort of themes and same sort of overarching story that they have in all of these. It seems like there's a royal that's in trouble or has powers or can potentially ruin the universe, and you're tasked either as that royal or the bodyguard or something. It feels like that's the same kind of tropes they go with all the time. I feel
like the trailer kind of misled you a bit because it looks like you were going to play a bodyguard or something, but then I noticed that the little boy that you're following at the start, he has this specific earring, but then as this sections in the trailer where it shows you this character even older and older, and it's got the same earring.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm wondering if you're playing as the little boy, but as he grows up, through time, because there's certain segments where you see this person with this earring, and then he has the tattoo on his face. I don't know, throwing.
So many of them have that weird tattoo thing on their face.
Final Fantasy fucking loves these patent tattoo things. Says
all these pretty boys with face tats. It's like, this isn't real life.
Mike Tyson names.
But yeah, more Final Fantasy. I'm with you. We're not going to see this game for many years. We've still got Final Fantasy 7, the next episode to come out, God knows when as well. So I reckon this game, 16, could be 2023, something like that. Probably being a little bit overly hopeful for that. But I'll pick it up, give it a play. Maybe I'll start to invest more into this world. I've still got to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's on my pile of shame still too. The next announcement we're going to be talking about, a good look at the next Spider-Man. We already knew that a Miles Morales-focused Spider-Man game was coming to PS5, but this week's reveal showed off an extended look at gameplay so you can get an idea of all the hero's Spidey abilities. It'll be launching this holiday on the PS5 and PS4. So that was a little bit of a curmudgeon that was thrown around where it was touted as day one console exclusive. No?
I don't know if you're referring to a specific tweet today that was done by a fake account.
You sure?
Okay, I don't know, because there was this, like, a lot of people in the media were, like, retweeting this tweet today, and it was from a fake account. So, I just gotta, like...
This was what I saw. This was a couple of days ago that I saw this. I'm just having a look now.
Oh, okay. As long as it's, like... Because, like, I know that a lot of people in gaming journalism got duped by a tweet from a fake, it was Insomnia Games kind of account, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I appreciate the save. No, so this is on the PlayStation blog, so it is 100% confirmed.
Oh, okay.
And the writing directly from the PlayStation blog from the 16th of September. We're excited today to reveal that Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales will be arriving on both PS5 and PS4. So, yes. Yes, there you go. Probably the biggest console exclusive coming into this holiday is available on current gen as well. So it kind of takes a little bit of wind out of the sails, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, there was, like, elements of this game. And, look, I didn't play the previous Spider-Man game. But there were, like, elements in this trailer video that we saw where there was a lot of moments where I'm like, are we zooming in and out of, like, gameplay, then, like, video, like, story, and then back into gameplay? Like the fluidity in that was incredible.
Yeah, it really seemed seamless where they were jumping from cutscene to quick time event to steering and having full control of Miles back to another cutscene. Like, it looked gorgeous. My God, it looked gorgeous. And I saw some tweets doing the round just of sort of close-ups of Miles and just the detail, like, in his hair and things like that. Like, it's got some polish and it looks phenomenal on the old on the PlayStation 5. But yeah, it is also going to be on the PlayStation 4. So I don't, like, it's not a big issue, but I found that kind of surprising a little bit, don't you think?
What, that they were going to release it on PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
Why?
Like,
some people can't afford the new console.
Yeah, like, I get that. Like, I guess they'll move max amount of units, but I thought positioning this as, like, the game to own or one of the reasons to buy a PlayStation 5.
Oh, I wonder if it's the upgrade thing. Like, you know how certain devs, like the games, they're going to, like, automatically, like Cyberpunk, right? Like, you buy it on PlayStation 4, then you get a PlayStation 5, you get the free kind of, like, graphical upgrade for the new gen console. Yeah. Maybe that was the tweet I was thinking of. But, like, yeah. Like, this game looks great. I remember one of the events told us, like, that it was, the content was made on a PC capture. I can't remember. Yeah,
with PS5 specs or something like that. That was for the Spider-Man. I'm 99% sure it came up with footage captured on PC using PlayStation 5 specifications or whatever. So,
but, like, this title looks great. The Spider-Man game previously was well received from everyone. I've seen a lot of people from, like, very specific communities and groups really excited about just general representation in this game, and it just looks like it's going to be a good look on a character that has been known in the Spider-Man universe, but, like, the fact that people will actually be able to get hands on. So
100%, it looks phenomenal, and totally agree with what you said. But 7 to 10 hours allegedly is the runtime for Miles Morales. So yeah, it's expand alone size, similar to the Lost Legacy. yeah, certainly not a expand alone price point, that's for damn sure. And the villain that you're going to be going up against is the Tinkerer. Had a little bit of a coat of paint change, you could say. It used to be like an old man. Phineas Mason is the Tinkerer, and he's sort of like an old dude that, you know, obviously is tinkering and doing inventing skills and making crazy weapons. But in this one, it's almost looked like a bloody hunter from Destiny 2.
I was going to say Fortnite character.
Oh yeah, that's probably more apt.
Really
actually,
felt like a Fortnite character, but I'm happy it sounded like a woman. So
yeah, but looks cool. This will be the game I'll be playing day one. Got the pre-order for this. We'll talk more about the games that are going to be dropping and available at launch on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X later. But yeah, it was cool. The next one that got the world all kinds of horny in the pants. A first look at the long-rumored open-world Harry Potter game was showcased. The wizarding world of Harry Potter is getting even bigger with a new game called Hogwarts Legacy. It's the long-rumoured and occasionally leaked open-world game set in the vast Harry Potter universe, and it's launching next year. So, looks cool. I love the Harry Potter universe. I love the films, the books. Obviously, we'll park J.K. Rowling off to the side with all her shit, but like just looking at it from, I guess, a universe and a character, and even just a pop culture perspective, it's a very special world and special franchise. But what did you think about this? Like, did you watch this trailer and go, I need to play this? Like, I looked at it and went, oh, it looks cool. I guess I'd give it a go, but I wasn't like, take my money right now. This is going to be genre defining for me.
Nope. I watched the trailer. For some reason, I got Bully. Remember the game Bully?
Oh, yeah. That was a great game.
I got some like Bully vibes to it. I don't know if it's just like the character design or whatever, but I was just like, this feels like I'm getting really Bully vibes. I think I was kind of disappointed graphically, like how kind of semi-cartoony it looked. And yeah, I just watched the trailer. I'm like, I know there's going to be a lot of people who have been waiting for this game and are absolutely frothing at the mouth to finally be able to see it and get their hands on it. But for me, I'm just like, nah, thanks. Don't want it. Don't need it. Don't want it.
Like, I haven't done much research to know, is this the one they were talking about was almost going to be like an MMO? Because this looked like it was singular experience. Like, they didn't show any multiple wizards working together to take down the big bad or be the big bad. Like, it just looked like it was standalone to me.
It didn't, but then, you know what, just mentioning that, there was certain elements where I'm like, this looks like it could have been like very like MMO. Like, it feels like it maybe had the, you know, beginning stages of that. There was like a lot of things, I think, more like map wise and environment wise, where it felt very open. And I was trying to see if it has to have a create or a character mode. So, but it was kind of confusing figuring out within the scenes, like who was the, you know, character that was being played essentially. So
just having a quick read on the official Hogwarts Legacy website at Warner Bros. Games. And another one that I only just looked at, like, that connected to me is also, it's got some Mordor-y vibes with the graphics as well.
yeah.
But reading it here, open world action RPG, doesn't mention any MMO types. It doesn't talk about a shared world universe. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart.
Of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're
maybe
special.
it is a singular experience.
You're not Harry Potter, but you're just as special.
Yeah.
Everyone's special.
Yeah, some of the enemies look like they're ripped straight out of Shadows of Mordor, like the big trolls you're fighting and stuff.
I just think there's going to be like, there's the diehard fans who read the books, who know the lore, who know the history, because this is set way, way, way back.
The 1800s apparently.
Yeah, so like then there's going to be people who maybe just strictly like movie fans and kind of like work off that universe, so they could be pretty disappointed. And like not
I'm
seeing
probably
characters
more
that they recognize.
movie fan. I don't think I've finished all the books. Yeah, more movie. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Unless this is like one of those things where they try to get people more enticed to like, you know, go further and buy more stuff to really deep dive into the Harry Potter lore.
Oh yeah, they'll get blood out of that Philosopher's Stone however they can. So
nice.
Yep. So, straight off the cuff, landed that one. And something else that landed, especially for me, I think, Resident Evil Village looks terrifying. The award for spookiest trailer goes to the 8th mainline Resident Evil, which looks as gruesome and unsettling as you'd expect. The scares are coming to the PlayStation 5 as well as Xbox Series X and PC in 2021. Curious to see if it's going to fall into that February release window, like that January, February that they've been sort of dropping the last couple of years. If so, awesome. That's a couple of months away. This trailer didn't show a whole lot. It was interesting that they went with this like fairy tale fable retelling where they almost had like Tim Burton characters talking about this kid that got lost in the woods. I thought that was very un-Resident Evil with that part.
Yeah, actually that like you kind of mentioned, Tim Burton kind of element, but we did see that in the previous, I guess we heard that in the previous trailer where she said, like, she actually starts that story. Like,
oh, you're right, yeah.
But, like, this is the first time we've seen this, like, little, like Tim Burton-y kind of little animation sequence. I didn't feel like we got a lot in this trailer. We got to see more of these, like, werewolf kind of monsters. But I mean, there was so much in the previous trailer that like I had a lot of questions, like where we were clearly in a different time point. We were in that mansion with those like coven kind of women. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. The trailer felt a bit lackluster for me.
Looks a bit eerie, and I love that they just keep throwing Chris in at the back end just for shits and giggles. Like this one especially, like you got like 3 seconds of him at the end, like heavy breathing or whatever. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
And someone shouting his name, right?
Yeah. Like, radio.
Reference.
Cool.
Reference.
Yeah. But it looks cool. I like that they are starting to branch out from traditional Resident Evil of old. You know, it's not just slow shuffling zombies and things like that. They're going down this horror, like almost like a gothic-y horror vibe now, and you're bringing in things like werewolves and like possessed people and covens and witches and stuff like that. Yeah, that's my kind of fucked up and scary, and I think this game's going to be terrifying. I'm curious if this is going to get a VR port as well. They haven't announced that yet, but I wonder if they're going to weave that in.
They'd have to, right?
Because it worked with 7. Worked phenomenally with 7. It's still by far the scariest VR experience I've ever had was playing Resident Evil 7 with the headset on. But yeah, early 2021, fingers crossed. Resident Evil Village, let's do it. The next one, Devil May Cry 5 is getting a special edition. One of the best action games of the last few years is getting a new version for the PS5. Capcom revealed a special edition of Devil May Cry 5, which will also be a PS5 launch title, will be available digitally only. This trailer was bananas. Like, there was just so much going on the screen at once. Like,
and the music.
I felt like I was going to have a fit. Like, there was so much happening. So many colors and sword swipes and stabs and enemies and bright things. I was like, oh, overload. But yeah, cool. Okay.
Special edition. Is it an enhanced edition, or is it just going to have a few little extra bits that the, PlayStation 4 version isn't going to have, like, and only available digitally too? So do you reckon it's
which I thought was a bit strange.
Filler, maybe? A little bit of a filler for the PS5 launch?
Yeah, it felt like that. Like, you get Virgil as a playable character, as well as the legendary Dark Knight mode, which is pretty much just lots of enemies coming at you at once. There's a turbo mode, so 20% gameplay speed increase. So that's probably why it felt like I was nearly having a fit watching some of that gameplay, because it was very fast. And it also has ray tracing support. So some graphical bumps there. It's apparently not coming to PC, but it's coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But yeah, being able to play as Virgil, okay, cool, awesome. But I don't know, I had a good experience with this game. I really liked the game. I think they did phenomenally well. Like, this was just Capcom just firing on all cylinders with this game. But I don't feel the need to run back to it just to play as a different character and get a bit of ray tracing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some people did.
Like, yeah, I know there's a big fan base behind it, but like, I don't know how many are going to be on the same level like you mentioned. Like, you've already played it once. Would you really necessarily want to go back and play it again? Yeah,
not me. I'm very much with a lot of these games, singular experience, one and done, on to the next. But then there's other people that just play them over and over again, or they hunt platinums and achievements and whatever else. Like, there's people that'll be all about it, and with this would probably come platinum. So there'd be some hunger there. Speaking of hunger, Five Nights at Freddy's goes next gen. The ubiquitous horror series Five Nights at Freddy's returns with an incredibly creepy-looking new entry for the PlayStation 5. It's called Security Breach, but no word on when it launches. So this trailer, it took me for a loop.
Did it?
I didn't know it was Five Nights at Freddy's until the end. Like,
oh, I knew instantly. Like,
oh, really?
The voice was like, I'm like, this sounds like one of those like animatronics from like one of the more recent ones. And then as it panned out, there was like this dark hallway it was panning out from. But if you looked in the top left, there was a very familiar like like broken down animatronic thing, like robot thing. And I'm like, oh no, this is a Freddy's. And then as it panned out, then it was the golden Freddy statue. I'm like, yep. Why was this needed?
Yeah.
Why did we put this in this event?
Yeah, it was very bizarre, but I'm curious if you're getting some sort of free exploration in this. Like if you are going to be a character walking around. That's what it felt to me, like it was open
like
world.
That. Yeah, I don't know. Like with this franchise, it's been really weird. Like props to him because he knows he has an audience and he has this the Matt Pat audience that wants to find the deeper meaning and story in the background. But that's just the theory, a game theory. But the actual game and the playability of the game, the creator has like kind of like, you know, mixed it up a little bit, like trying not to make it so much of the same. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe with this, especially on PlayStation 5, maybe you are able to really just move around a lot more.
I think that would be good because the room to room kind of crap, like it's cool and you can get some good jump scares, but it does sort of overstay its welcome. Like it does sort of run out fairly quickly as far as the intrigue for at least me. Like I think if you've played a Five Nights at Freddy's game, you've played them all pretty much. So if they can change the meta a little bit,
yeah, I mean,
have a little bit of free exploration.
I feel like he's always done, like, they're easy scares because jump scares are pretty easy scares, but like you still get scared, like you still jump. So if you're looking for that, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, and apparently it's a PlayStation console exclusive for the first 3 months from release. So a little timed, bit of hotness players there. Yeah. But we'll see. What was that? Sorry?
Well, hang on. So is it a console exclusive? When something's a console exclusive, does that mean like PC is also involved, or is PC just its own thing? Look at me, my eliteness. PC is technically not a console. So.
The only referencing I'm seeing is, so it's going to be on the PlayStation 4, 5, and the PC. But yeah, the I think it looks like PlayStation 5 might get the first 3 months of it before it goes to PC, and then available potentially on the PS4 as well, as per this article I'm reading on Fandom. So yeah. And the last bit of news we want to unpack from the PlayStation 5 showcase, a better look at the Demon's Souls remaster. Bluepoint Games' ambitious remaster of Demon's Souls is one of the most exciting PS5 titles we know about, and we've got a good long look at the revamped action RPG in a new trailer. Looked great. Especially when I saw a lot of side-by-side stills and footage from the OG release of this compared to where it looks like now, and it is night and day.
So I feel really bad because I watched the Demon's Souls announcement. I'm like, I've never played this game. And I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, this looks like all those other games. So what? Like, I was just so not fazed by it whatsoever until someone actually, like, you know, like you said, they showed side-by-side comparisons. So I went, oh shit, now I see why people are really happy.
Yeah. Yeah, like that final, like the boss that the trailer ends on.
Old saggy
You see the
tits.
stills. Yeah, old Sags. You see Sags comparison from the OG release to now, and it is head and shoulders above as far as quality goes.
That's why I felt so bad. I'm like, why is everyone getting so excited over this? It just looks like every other game.
Yeah, and like a lot of people that are all about the Souls games, they're all in on this already. Like it's getting a lot of positive press, a lot of praise, and a lot of excitement. But just this genre for me, it just doesn't mesh with me as well as I'd like. It frustrates me so much. So I did pre-order this game at launch just to give it a crack, but I'd be very surprised if I finish this game.
Me too.
Like, I haven't finished the last couple of Souls games. I've finished Bloodborne, but that's it. But Bloodborne's a little bit more arcadey and forgiving compared to the Dark Souls games.
Boss.
So, yeah, I'll give this a go. I'll probably die a lot. I'll swear a lot, and then I'll say I'm never playing this game again. But you know what? Other people just love it. They've got this weird addiction to video game pain. Some people, like, they love the punishment.
It has to be like a puzzle community, right? Like you're learning how to like defeat something, right? So, you know, you do something, you see what works, what doesn't work, and then you try and try again, right? Like that has to be it.
Yeah,
I have no
it's
patience.
something. it's something, just working out, the ways to solve the problem, really. And the problem often is your death. So,
or rolling.
Yeah, rolling, or you run out of stamina, so you can't block and whatever else. Like, it's the whole thing. But yeah, a lot of the gaming world loves that genre now, and that punishment and that stress. Someone in our 8-bit community also is probably really cringing at hearing us going like, eh. Yeah, like Calgar, Andrew from the Inconsolables, he is all about this type of game, and he plays them religiously on stream, does like builds where, you go in underpowered and try to finish the game, or like with shit weapons, and like, I don't know how you can do that to yourself. I'd have a heart attack. Anyway, they are the biggest announcements and highlight points from the PlayStation 5 release that occurred, last Thursday for us in Australia. And on the back of that, we got obviously the pre-order debacle that we talked about at the start of the episode. We got the price points. So apparently they lowered their price to be in line with the Xbox Series X price, because obviously Microsoft got out ahead of them the week prior. So $4.99 USD for the PlayStation 5 Disc Edition, $3.99 USD for the Discless Edition. Obviously, that $4.99 marries up exactly with the Xbox Series X, where the Xbox Series S is $2.99 and the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is $3.99. But as far as the mainline consoles, that translates to $750 AUD, which I thought it was going to be at $800. So anything under that, I'm happy. Like, it's still a good chunk of change, but yeah, it's good to see that they aren't completely trying to gouge people's wallets. And what do you think overall from that event and that announcement and the price and what have you, and the two PlayStation SKUs having the digital and the disc edition? I like just overall with both of these major console releases, I'm pretty happy. And I've got to also remember that I'm seeing this from an American price point and making references to what I know as an Australian price point. But like, seeing these digital versions of these consoles at such a appealing price range, especially for the current economic climate that we're in, but like just making it even more accessible to people that might not have the funds to, be extremely lavish. I mean, having this might allow people to buy both consoles and buying the digital version of both. So that's a win-win, right? Yeah, I like the idea of the digital versions. Obviously, it's going to then be reliant upon your internet speeds. And then also the storage size. Like, they haven't confirmed on the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition the internal storage. Like, it's got an 825 gig SSD on the disc version. The Xbox Series X has got a 1 terabyte SSD. The Xbox Series S only has a 512 gigabyte SSD, so you're losing roughly half going to the discless, which makes it tough because obviously then you're going to have to rely on downloading and installing more games, so you have to buy an external hard drive, which is also an option for both consoles. But Xbox only has a proprietary? Is that how you say it? Yes, that's true. It's exciting. We don't have to wait too long. We've got about, 6 weeks before these bad boys hit the streets now? Yeah, that's like with the low price points as well. Lucky for them, because you would have been pretty pissy if it got really close to the launch and be like, save your pennies now because these are the prices. So I think, I think they really hit it with what everyone's expectations were. So it's positive. Just unfortunate about the various pre-order. And the various game distributors have some pretty shit hot trade-in offers for your PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones to really offset some of that price jump. So check that out. I know I'll be trading both my consoles into EB games when the Xbox Series X rolls around, and pretty much I'll get the Series X for free and then just have to buy the PlayStation 5, I think is how it translates from my quick maths. So yeah. Exciting times, though. Exciting times. And as I mentioned, the Xbox Series S and X pre-orders go live this coming Tuesday morning for Australians at 8 a.m. So set that in your calendar because you don't want to miss out and get that FOMO. I know I certainly don't. But if you can't wait that long and you just want to play some games, this is what's coming out this week.
New releases and events.
We've got about a dozen games dropping this week. Ones of note that I'd probably bring to the table: Mafia Definitive Edition coming out on the 25th of September. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. Looks gorgeous, getting a lot of positive press already. Tempting to maybe get back into it. Another one, Serious Sam 4, coming out on PC and Stadia on September 24. Maybe, don't mind a bit of Serious Sam, a bit of chaotic first-person shooter action, unique environments, quirky characters, things like that. Anything else on this list maybe makes you want to reach for your wallet?
Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Yeah, I hope you were going to say that.
I love me, bro. Any kind of like tycoon. There's like a bunch of games now where it's like roller coaster. There's a bunch of transportation tycoon games that are coming out. Someone like sent me a message on Discord saying like there was like a train tycoon game that was free on Epic Games, and I'm like, I'm so glad people know how like weird and boring I am when it comes to these kind of simulation tycoon games. But I fucking love it. So much structure and organization. Makes me so happy.
It's crazy too, because in that same week, Unrailed releases on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch and PC, which is a railroad co-op multiplayer where you're building a train track against endless procedurally generated worlds. So yeah, you can just keep it on the rails all week if you like, with a couple of big releases. Yeah. Choo indeed. But yeah, that's what's coming out this week. Maybe we'll jump into this.
Tweet of the week.
And this little old ditty comes via way of @Shinobi602. And the tweet reads, now that we have a clearer picture, here are the currently confirmed, in brackets, dated launch titles for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S this November. And looking at the docket here, it's not the strongest release for a new console that I've ever seen as far as day one games. I guess if we look at the PlayStation 5, we've obviously got Spider-Man Miles Morales, we've got Sackboy Big Adventure, Destruction All-Stars, Demon's Souls, Astro's Playroom, Godfall. After Godfall, the next assortment of games are also going to be available on the Xbox platform. So we're looking at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Madden 21, Dirt 5, Destiny Beyond Light, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Watch Dogs Legion, Devil May Cry 5 with that expanded edition, and NBA 2K21. And if we jump over to the Xbox, we've got Gears Tactics, we've got Tetris Effect, we've got Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then a lot of shared games there. So day one ain't going to be too big for either of these platforms, IMO. What do you think about this? Is this a little bit ho-hum?
It's a little like disheartening, isn't it? Because Microsoft definitely had all their chips on the table for Halo, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it just looks really lackluster. Like, I'm assuming Microsoft's Halo was the counter to maybe PlayStation's Spider-Man. I'm trying to think what would have PlayStation's... Oh, well, I guess with the pushback, would it have been Last of Us? I don't know. Like, no. So what was PlayStation's, anchor title for their release?
I think it's Spider-Man, to be completely honest.
I think
they went all in on Spider-Man. Like, and you know what? Gamers are hyped as hell for a bit of Miles Morales. But yeah, without having Halo there as that crown jewel day one available title, it's like, okay, I love my Xbox, but there's nothing really here that makes me go, I'd need this. Like, I'm going to get the console day one anyway, because that's how I am. But yeah, there isn't that exclusive big tentpole beacon of light, saying here's the Xbox Series X and S. Sorry, you need this. It's just going to be next gen, general AAA titles. Like, I'll be playing Assassin's Creed on there and Watch Dogs and stuff.
Yeah. So like honestly, looking at this list, if someone was to say to me, based on what's on offer, where are you going? Look, I don't know if we can put it in the category of like Xbox Game Pass and saying like what's available for you with Game Pass. But like in regards to what we're being like fronted here is like new releases for November for the new consoles. I mean, I would be looking at a PS5 just for the Spider-Man game. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, obviously the Xbox is coming out like North America on November 10th, and then a couple of days later on the 12th is when the PlayStation releases. So we've got 2 days to breathe between console drops. But yeah, like that Yakuza Like a Dragon looks bonkers, and I'm excited to play that. Like, it looks
so insane and very larger than life and just pure chaos, which I'm keen for. Like the PlayStation 5, I pre-ordered that Destruction All-Stars as well, which, let me tell you, is $120 Australian on the pre-order.
Fuck no.
Get fucked. But I did it anyway. Just so I can try some of these exclusives day one. Like,
No, thank you.
yeah. My goodness gracious. And I'm keen to play a little bit of, like, try out Godfall. Astro's Playroom's great because it's a pack in the console, so you aren't actually paying for that. It's available in the console from the jump, which I like. But a bit of Sackboys, bit of Spider-Man, and then just some games that are available on both platforms. So,
Yeah.
But as you were saying before, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, available in Game Pass with all the other content previously released on there too. So that is awesome. Big win for Microsoft in that regard, I think.
I agree.
All right, let's move into the last segment of the potty.
You've got mail.
Oh, I changed it. I fixed it.
You fixed
I forgot
it.
I did that. Sorry, Chuck. You're back to normal again, mate. And this question of the week is more of, I guess, a recap of a poll you chucked up a couple of weeks back now.
Yeah.
And the poll question was fairly simple. Best donut glaze. And you had options as chocolate, pink, or I'll say strawberry, caramel, or something else. And coming in equal last place on 14.3% of the vote was something else. And pink, second place, was chocolate with 28.6%. And first place, caramel with 42.9%.
Yeah.
What in the fuck, people?
And it was funny because, like, I was just going to have just chocolate and, like, strawberry donut because that was, like I'm not a massive fan of a chocolate donut, but, like, it's my alternative to throw at you because you praised, like, pink glazed donuts for some goddamn reason.
They're the best.
But then as I was writing the poll, I'm like, let's throw some others in there. And then I was like sitting there forever just trying to figure out what's the standard. I even had to go to like donutking.com just to see what the standard was. And I'm like, oh yeah, caramel. Yeah, caramel makes sense. And there it goes. It bloody takes the lead and wins the bloody poll.
This is the Stephen Bradbury of donut quizzes right now.
100%. It really surprised me. Like, a lot of people were in agreement of like a maple donut or like a cinnamon donut, which is my favorite. Just your standard cinnamon, like dusted, like sugar dusted donut. It's just a classic. But like over here in the States, an original donut is a glazed donut, just like that original glazed Krispy Kreme kind of thing. So, yeah. But yeah, the caramel took it.
Yeah, I do not agree with this poll. I demand a recount. I'm going all Trump here, and I'm going to shut down the post offices for voting for future because this is clearly flawed.
Get my Twitter blocked for no reason.
Yeah, like it's. I agree with you. Like a good cinnamon donut is pretty special, especially if you can get them when they're fresh out of the fryer.
And like, it's funny because of my husband, I actually have bear witness to what a churro is, which is essentially,
oh my God, they're so good.
Which is essentially a cinnamon donut, but just like even better because you always loved it if you got that donut that had maybe been in the fryer for too long and it just like it was crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. And then I just found out that there was this whole thing that was exactly that, and it was in stick form, and you can dip it in chocolate. Like,
get the dulce de leche, the sort of salted caramel with the churro. That is God tier too. That deserves a mention on this list. Like I'll put that up there as a near winner.
Donuts and then churro. So that's my standard. So I'm bloody cinnamon queen, and so anything of that taste of variety just hits the note. Yeah,
I'd tier it as pink or strawberry glazed as my number one. I just love it.
Wrong.
I love the flavor. All about it. I ate 3 pink glazed donuts for lunch the other day because I'm that kind of guy. And I bought like a 4-pack the day before, and I'm like, I need to eat these before they get stale. So I'm like,
wait,
I'll
what
just eat
happened
the rest
to
of
the
the box.
fourth?
I ate that one that day. So
Okay.
I had that one the day before, and then I ate three for lunch. Oh, well, the doggos had a little bit too, but
that counts.
Yep. So strawberries, my god tier. I just love it. It's just simple, really good flavor. But then in second, it would be a good fresh cinnamon donut, and I'd put / churro because they are
identical,
both very special and very delicious.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd probably put a good jam donut third.
See,
I love a good jam donut.
yeah, see, because like this is where it breaks the rule. Because like stuffed donuts with like a custard one inside a donut. Oh my god! But like, yeah, this is when we get technical. If we're just talking glazed or like maybe just like toppings, yeah. Bless you, sir. And again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but chocolate and caramel would not be anywhere near the top of my list.
I don't know, caramel's good. Like, I agree with them. Caramel's good. It just shocked me when everyone was like, hell yeah, caramel. Fuck the rest. So
Yeah, it ran away with it. 42% of the vote, where my poor old Pinky, 14.3%. That is very depressing, but just means there's more pink glazed donuts for me. That's all that means.
Exactly.
Except they were sold out like a week ago, and I was so broken. I had to buy like the lesser pink glazed donut version. Like, when they have like you can get like the cinnamon donut sort of base, or you can get more of the fluffy lighter donut base.
No,
like,
there's
I prefer
more to
that.
donuts than I know about.
Yeah. There is a science to it. I'm going to have to do a full unpack of this one day and just buy all the different ones and break it down.
Make it a
Give me a
YouTube
good
video.
excuse for donuts. But yeah, I guess shout out to Caramel for winning that poll, even though I disagree wholeheartedly. Just means there's more pink glaze for me. But this brings us to the end of THG 211. Anything else you want to say before we get on out of here for another week, Miss Hart?
Honorable mention to Oddworld getting a trailer or feature in the Sony presentation. I know I said I wasn't hyped for anything. That was the only thing that got me excited.
And it looks so true to the OG. Like, and it was great to see the characters brought back and not even reimagined, just enhanced for this next gen. And you're getting that same insanity. So many Maduckans dying though. Holy moly, you see a lot of them dead in that trailer. Like, Abe, have some
gruesome.
Have some care and play out these levels with a little bit more thought, because he's just running there getting minced every which way.
If anyone missed it, like, because it was pretty, I wouldn't say it was pretty quick, but maybe some people kind of glazed over it. Glazed. Watch it, because like at the end, the Maduckans like speak more and they're complaining because they're waiting. It was so funny. I loved it.
Yeah, just really great humor.
Yeah,
really, really well written that game. And I remember playing the first one on the original PlayStation, and at that age, I was sort of too young to appreciate that style of game. Like, I enjoyed parts of it, but I couldn't play it the whole time. A couple of years later, I loved it and finished it. But when I first got it, I was like, this isn't for me.
For me, like, when I remember seeing that game, I didn't have a PlayStation, so the first time I saw it was like at a friend's house. I was in absolute awe how graphically beautiful it was. I'm like, whoa, this looks crazy. This looks amazing. And then I also got scared as well. It scared me a little. So
the little, what was it? They're Strogs, aren't they? Or Strigs? The little sort of like squid mouth guys with the guns. Yeah, get them.
Yeah. Wait.
I just remember getting gunned down by them so many times as a kid. I'm like, nope, bugger this. I'm going to play Colin McRae Rally and just smash my car up.
I swear I had a handheld version of that, like an Abe game. I'm trying to think now. I'm gonna have to Google it, but maybe someone out there can also like confirm it for me. But yeah, love it. Oddworld,
100%. Yeah, but this has been episode 211. What do you reckon we get on out of here?
Let's skedaddle.
Sounds fantastic. But we're back with 212, same time, same channel next week. 8-Bit Nation, much love
and stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
I really want a pink donut. I think I have to go buy some again today. I got a problem.
Of 4?
A 4-pack. Can't eat all 4 for lunch though.
You can try.
I really could. What is wrong with me?